Hello, you're back watching another Stunt Culture Fast Track Guide, and today we're going to show you guys how to whip.
Not that whip!
So before we get into the whip, there's a few things that you need to know. Firstly, make sure that you have the correct technique in your back handspring and your round off handspring, because it's important that you have that before continuing through the whip.
Bro, don't forget about the layout.
Also, what we like to do is we like to make sure that our athletes can lay out before they can whip, before we start teaching them how to whip, because if you have an athlete that starts whipping before they can lay, usually they build up bad technique and it's a lot harder for them to then learn the layout. So that's just our personal preference. Some athletes won't do that, but we prefer to have our athletes learn the lay before the whip.
You told them about the layout?
Yeah, the lay. Was there anything?
Just how like the layout and the whip are like the same, but they're not.
Okay, yeah. So what you'll notice is that the whip and the layout, they're not the same. They're quite different.
No, they're not. They're not at all.
So let's go to that whip now.
So before we touch base on that whip, we're going to go over a round off hamstring and a round off layout, just to show you those two skills. Make sure you have those strong. We like to teach the layout before we teach the whip, just for good habits and stuff. Anyway, moving on. I'll do the hamstring first. I'm just going to do a round off. I'm going to focus on getting into a nice tight hollow shape out of my round off, standing up nice and tall out of the round off. Okay, watch the round off. I'll get to about this shape, tummy in, squeezing my bum, get my toes under and through me, and then I'm going to extend through the handspring. So I'll show you that now, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to show you that layout. So I'm going to come out of my round off, stand nice and tall, nice and aggressive. I'm not going to scoop my toes through. I'm still going to come out in a nice straight, hollow but not over hollow body shape before standing up into the layout. And then I'm going to stand up and then I'm going to squeeze my hips and my toes up, squeeze my core, squeezing most of my body. Once I initiate that layout and that rotation, I just have to hold that shape. I don't want to try and pull it over any quicker. Once I've got that rotation happening, I just have to commit to that set. Ready? And now we'll get into that whip. So first drill, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go from a handstand snap down, and we're going to over hollow ourselves in the landing and then snap down to the mat, opening up through our chest. With the whip, it's kind of like tricky. You need to learn how to go into an open, like arch shape, but without bending your lower back to a hollow shape. So it's like open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. Okay, so Cody's gonna hold me up into the handstand shape. I'm gonna get an arch through my hips, open up through my shoulders, then I'm gonna snap down hollow, come through, and then hit the mat.
So if you're struggling to get into the correct position, you can have someone spot to help. Just make sure with that arch, don't arch through your lower back. It should be through your hips and through your shoulders. Ready?
So with that drill, you're really focusing on getting into that hollow shape out of the snap down, not so much the extension. It's just a byproduct of that drill. So getting through, squeezing through, extending through those arms and slapping the mat, that's gonna help with doing the whip, but the main purpose of this drill is to snap down to that hollow shape out of that natural arch through your handstand. So now we're gonna do the seal drill for the whip, okay? So I recommend doing this on a tumble track, not an air track, and with crash mat, not landing mat, because it's kind of hard. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna swing through, big jump, reach up and open up through your chest a little bit, squeeze your core as tight as you can. You do want a lot of hip drive and to point your toes away from you. You don't want to be pulling your toes over too much, otherwise you'll end up in a really hollow shape and then you'll land very uncomfortably on the mat. I'll show you and then I'll go over the technique a little bit more. So how my arms are open and I've got my hands turned out, this is the position that your arms will go to when you do the whip. So think about it like extending up, opening through your chest, squeezing your core, and then you like drive your hips up and then you'll snap back hollow. So like from here, coming out of your round off, and then back close in the second half of the whip. All right, so guys, with this drill, what you're gonna do is you're gonna like preferably set up some panel mats, but we don't have any, so this is a little bit high. Cody's in a really nice hollow shape, and then he's going to like snap and extend really aggressively and open up through his chest, squeeze his core down, and open up through his hips. So he's gonna point his toes away, squeeze his bum up, squeeze his tummy down, and squeeze his chest open, smacking the mat behind him. And and snap. Good. Go a little bit more aggressive through your arm. And snap. Good. See that snap where his hips extend up? That's what we want through the whip. So I'll show you the next drill. So last drill, we're going to do an elevated handspring. So I'm going to round off. I'm going to come through in that nice hollow shape. I'm going to extend, do a handspring up on our raised mats over here. And then once you get that timing, you can go a little bit higher than that, and then you remove the mats, and then you do the same thing, extending through your chest, squeezing your core, and then that's the whip. So we'll show you that now. I'll show you one more time. Really make sure you focus on how I open up through my arch shape and then snap hollow back to my close shape. So it's open, close, open, close. So I am traveling quite a far distance behind me, and you want that coming out of the whip when it's elevated, because if you're going to do another whip out of it or a handspring, you get your toes under, really nice and hollow, and then that backward momentum will carry you. But if you're wanting to do a tuck, a layout, or a full, you want to leave your toes behind you and then extend up and rebound nice and tall. So I'll show you that now. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to do the whip now. I'll do two different whips. I'll do the first one where I pull my toes through and land really nice and hollow, kind of over hollow out of it, and then I'll extend through and do another whip, and then I'll do a tuck or a layer or full out of the next one, just to show you the different angles I'm blocking and the body shape on when you come out of the whip. So I'll just do a straight round off whip for starters, and then I'll add the skills after. Good, so now I'm gonna add the whip. So I'll come out of my whip, nice and hollow, get my toes on it, and then extend through for another whip. Now I'm gonna add a tuck, just to show you that deeper blocking angle so we can stand up rather than carrying that momentum backwards. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the whip. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and we'll see you in the next video.